Alright guys, it's time to talk effect pedals. Alright, if you're like me and every other guitar player in the world, effect pedals are an awesome thing that take up tons of your time and tons of your money, but we still want more of them because they're super fun to play with. Alright, this is what's going to give you the sounds of Jack White or Tom Morello or David Gilmour. Like, this doesn't come from guitar and amplifier, it comes from the different effect pedals they have. Alright, but a lot of questions come up when you start buying effect pedals like, well, which ones should I buy that's going to be more appropriate for the scenario I'm playing in? Or once I have them, well, how do I dial them in? Or once I have them dialed in, how do I put them in the proper signal chain? All right, these are all questions that get asked a lot, and until somebody explains it to you, well, you just kind of trial and error that bad boy until you figure it out, which is what I did growing up. All right, but now I've enlisted the help of a local expert here, and we're going to talk pedals. We're going to break it down into basically two scenarios here. All right, scenario one we're going to get into is more of the praise and worship style pedal board, which is, for those of you who are not familiar with the praise and worship style music, that's a very, very popular phenomenon that's taken over in churches where guitar players are building pads and tons of soundscapes basically with their pedals rather than just playing. It's actually a part of the instrument itself. The pedals themselves are the platform that creates the sound that comes out of that type of music. All right, and then for those of you who are not accustomed to the praise and worship style, what this basically is the Edge from U2. It's that style of playing. Right, it's very effect heavy, based a lot on his use of delays and reverbs and ambience and all that kind of thing. So that's going to be our first path. Number two path is going to be the blues, rock, funk, jazz type of scenario, the fusion type of pedal board. It's not going to be built the same way. So we're going to split them up into two parts. So there's a lot of difference we're going to cover between the two, and we're going to learn lots of things along the way, like signal path and how that's going to change the way your rig is going to sound, just simply based on which pedal comes first. So let's take a little deeper look into it. I've got my good buddy Matt Reece going to help me out with this. Hope you enjoy.
Hey everyone. All right, so as you can see, today we're going to be talking about amplifiers. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We changed our... That's what happens when a joke bombs, okay? People just look at you and go, "What, is that supposed to be funny?" No, for real.
They are little amplifiers.
Is that right? Well, excuse me. All right. So we're going to be talking about effect pedals. All right, effect pedals are something that guitar players obsess over and have obsessed over since their creation back in 19... So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about lots of different pathways you can go down using pedals. So there's lots of different genres, actual whole genres of music that are built on certain types of effect pedals. Oddly enough, I know. All right, now I myself can tend to be slightly on the Neanderthal side of effect pedals. All right, I'm a little more old school in the way that I play. So what I've had to do is recruit the world's leading expert in all things effect pedals. So would you please, it is absolutely true, would you please welcome Mr. Matty Reece. Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
All right. It's
Great.
not a show.
Great.
We're just gonna,
Yeah.
but we would make it look official.
That's
we
right.
should have had you walk in and give you a cup of
Absolutely.
coffee, and we could have had another guy over here make us
Could
laugh.
go for coffee right about
Well, I can call the wife. She can bring us some down. So, Matty, today we've got this slew of pedals on the table. And one of the things I want to discuss for the viewer is, one thing is, if you're a brand new player or brand new to pedals, what might be the first steps, the first logical steps anyways, towards buying an actual, and assimilating an actual pedal board, or should I say assembling a pedal board, whichever way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing is we're going to take this down two paths. One path is the praise and worship U2 style player, and that's going to look a lot different than like your blues, rock, funk, jazz type of player. And the pedal boards, would you say, are the pedal boards going to have anything in common?
Probably not. Maybe a few things, but not a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
So with that said, what we're going to start with is we're going to build a very small, now we have pedal boards set out to build large ones, but we're going to build a very small, basic pedal board, and we're going to talk about what needs to be your first purchase, second purchase, third purchase, whatever, and we're going to assimilate those. I keep using that word assimilate. I don't like that. That's a very political sounding word. We're going to put those in the order that they're going to go in, and believe it or not, this is not as simple as just, oh, I'm buying a bunch of pedals, let's throw them together and run them in a chain and start playing, because that's a really quick way to jack your sound up. There's actually a method to this. There's a signal path that needs to run, and Matty here, not myself, Matty is going to explain that in a way that is going to give us the cleanest sound, and going to have us use the most crazy pedals, but still maintain that pure signal all the way through. There, Matty.
All right, so the first thing that you have to have is some kind of board. In this example, we have a Pedal Train Nano Plus. When I was a kid, there was no such thing as pedal train. You got a piece of wood. You got a skateboard deck.
Bicycle chains.
Remember
that?
You use your bicycle chains to hold your pedals down, screw them into a piece of wood. That's how you did it. You stuck some Velcro down, whatever you could get as a board, because they didn't have all these items available when we were younger. So I don't know what your first pedal board looked like, but mine was a piece of wood, actually.
Yeah. Well, my first pedal board didn't exist. I was the old, like, I put them on the ground.
Gotcha.
I had pedals put on the ground.
That does work. That does work.
One of my first gigs was a backyard party in the grass, and I noticed that you kept having to push those pedals so hard that they were going deeper and deeper into the dirt. So I'm the wrong person to ask about that.
So we're going to use this one as an example, and then the second thing that you have to have is some kind of power source. And for this, because this is a smaller pedal board and it's flat, you'll notice this one right here has an angle to it. You can get a bigger power supply underneath it.
And this is a pedal Train 2, I believe.
Yes, and this is the Pedal Power 2 Plus.
The Voodoo Lab?
That is actually underneath it, which is a bigger pedal power supply. This is a slimline one. This is a Strymon Zuma. It fits perfectly underneath, so you can sit the pedal board flat on the floor.
Does the Zuma do the sag?
No, it does not.
It does not do sag. Yeah, that's one really cool feature about the Pedal Power 2. The first two channels have a sag that you can turn the power way back and kind of get the voltage dialed back to really warm over the sound of some of your distortion pedals. You would not plug your delays and any kind of modulation pedals into that. That's just for your distortion.
And I think it's the last two channels, but
yeah, okay. Potato.
Yeah, that's right. And so you get a pedal power supply. Back in the day, and they still use them, are the wall warts. The one spots you plug it into the wall, and then you daisy chain your pedals through. That's up for debate. Some people don't like that because it splits the power amongst the pedals, which you can have some tone loss in that. These are individually powered, so each pedal is getting the full power that it should to get the proper tone out of it as possible.
And that's what it's all about anyways.
Yep, and it's a purchase you don't like to make. It's a necessity, but it's something you don't like to make.
Yeah, because you'll spend just as much on a pedal power as
right.
you will some fancy pedals, and that sucks because it doesn't make any sound at all, except for it makes all the sound.
Absolutely. And so then after that, everybody has to have a pedal at some point. And the one pedal that you have to have, whether you love pedals and you want a ton of them like myself, or you want no pedals like this dude over here, you have to have a tuner.
Oh.
It is necessary.
Another totally unsexy buy.
That is very true. This happens to be the Polytune Mini.
Yeah.
They make a bigger Polytune. They make a Boss TU2, TU3. It is necessary that you are in tune when you're playing with the band or just playing in your room.
I'll give you that. Of utmost importance here, folks. The being in tune is it. There is nothing exciting about spending your hard-earned money on a tuner. Am I right about that? There's nothing exciting about it except for the fact that you will sound good. Now, I can't really, I mean, where do you go from there? You know? So, and these tuners, this one looks like it's a nice compact size to go on something small like what we're getting ready to do.
Yep, and to briefly talk about the pedal board is we compare it to real estate, to land. You only have so much land to build your pedals for your quest for tone.
Yeah, so that means that this alter ego would not go on the fly rig.
That is absolutely right. That would take up a lot of space.
Excellent. And when we say fly rig, so that's a common term in the biz, the fly rig. That means when you have to do a quick overnight flight or something, or you're going on a quick trip to play somewhere and you're not doing an actual tour, you're just flying in to do a show and flying out. Guys don't take these massive things that you have to pay $850 to ship over there. They just take a little small, just like this right here, a little small compact thing, and that's your fly rig. So that's, thought I need to define that.
Okay. And so the tuner, like I said, we've talked about before, you can, if you need to free up space and need that space and you still need a tuner, they have clip-on tuners that tons of companies make. You've told me, we've had this conversation before about, the clip-ons versus the tuners on the board.
Yeah.
And visually being able to see those.
Sometimes the lights, I mean, I love the snarks, but there are times when the snark tuners, like if your lights are beaten down and stuff like that, there's times when the snark may not work as well as an actual stomp box on the floor. So daylight, playing outdoors and that kind of thing sometimes.
But if you're new to this and you're playing in your room and you're not playing with lights everywhere, you can kind of save some space and stick that thing on there if that works for you.
Yep. And it's a lot cheaper.
Absolutely. Yep. And it leaves you more room for the glory.
That's right. That's right. More room for the noisemakers.
Absolutely.
Hey y'all, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you next time.